Hey everyone, this is Lyle's, and I am here with a Thanksgiving cooking special. I'm going to be making turkey and dressing and my take on the cranberry sauce. Last year I made a boneless a boneless turkey, but um, the turkeys this year are small for some reason. I guess because of COVID and stuff, and so they didn't have a chance to have any 20-pound plus turkeys. So it didn't really seem viable to debone it. So I'm just gonna do it traditionally this year. Um, the trick that I'm gonna be using this time is I made a compound butter, and this butter basically you just take a couple of sticks, you soften it, and then you add anywhere between a quarter cup to half a cup of sage, depending on if you like or dislike sage. You know, if you love it, add more. If not, if you don't like it, then don't add it. Some rosemary, just a tiny bit of garlic powder, um, and some about maybe like half a teaspoon of garlic powder, some onion powder, and rosemary and thyme, salt and pepper too, depending on if you use salted butter or unsalted. I like using unsalted butter so like I can add my own salt because I don't like iodine in my salt, so I don't. I get the unsalted butter. So if it already has salt in it, don't add any more. You don't want your turkey too salty. so I mix all that together, and then I set it aside a couple of nights before, so it has time to mix all the flavors together. And so I let it soften up a few hours prior to starting. So it has it still have a bit of a firmness to it, but it's not, it's soft. So you can apply you can do what we're about to do. So basically, the turkey, it's got this really thick skin on it, and that's gonna help us. You don't want to. It has it came with one of these little indicators on here, and basically it just pops up whenever it's when the turkey's done. But I'm going to be using a wireless. I'm going to be using a wireless thermostat so that I can see whenever the turkey is right at the right temperature, without having to take it out and mess with it. So what we're going to be doing is pretty simple. This is very simple. There's nothing fancy to do with this whenever you're doing it traditional style. You just basically you season the turkey, put your stuffing in there if you want to do your stuffing that way, and just throw it in the oven. But since we're going to be doing something a little different, what you want to do is you want to get your fingers up underneath the turkey skin like this. It's a little creepy, but it's like an alien. You want to just feel your freaking fingers up underneath this thing here. Trying to be careful not to tear the skin. You want to go as far back as you can with your hands. My hands are a little big, so I'm trying to be careful not to tear the skin as I'm wiggling it through here. But it comes undone quite easily. So I do it on that side. I stick my hand in here, my little hand. Just wiggle it around. It's very important too that your turkey is fully thawed out before you start cooking it, because of it's such a large bird that whenever you take it out frozen, it takes a long time to thaw out. So you wanna stick it in your fridge for a few days before you're ready to cook your Thanksgiving. Or if you just did what I did, I just pretty much yesterday morning. I just pretty much just left it in the sink, and it was thawed out just right with a little bit of ice inside here, but that's fine. But as long as the meat of it's thawed out, then that's all that matters. So we got up underneath here. We got the skin nice and loose. Got the skin nice and loose right here. You kind of want to go into the drumstick too, because you want this compound butter to be all over every bit of flesh that you can get it. Because any that you put outside, most of it's going to run off into the pan. But if you don't tear the skin, and you get it in between the skin and the meat, that thick skin is going to hold that butter on the turkey the whole time. So it will baste it the whole entire cooking time, which will not only make your turkey very moist, but it will also make it very delicious as well. I don't like to leave the tail on here. I just like to cut this off and add it to the pot of fixins, like so. Speaking of which, there's they put the packet in the neck hole for some reason. There it is. I'm baking 2 turkeys actually. That's the neck and stuff from the other turkey, which I have in the oven. I was going to try to cram both of them into the oven at the same time, because if you have a thermostat, you really don't have to worry about times. But I found out that the turkeys are just large enough to where I can't squeeze them in side by side, so I'm going to be using a slow cooker for this one. But I'm going to have the slow cooker here, so I have both of them plugged into my thermostat. So, okay. So, it's ready for the butter. And basically, you just, take some of this compound butter and you just work it all the way back. Like so. And then you just, on the surface, you just kind of massage it down. It's very simple. You get that skin separated and it's very easy to work with. You just have to massage it like your grandmother. There you go. Yeah. And the compound butter makes it very easy to see too, with all the herbs in there. It has enough discoloration where you can see where you're missing. If it's green, leave it be. If it's brown, push it down. You're going to be using all of this butter, so don't be afraid to... There's no such thing as too much butter. There is such a thing as not enough butter. So you just have to keep putting as much as you can into it. One of the benefits of leaving the bone in a turkey is pretty much with any protein that you cook. The marrow and the bones actually help give it additional flavor. Of course, having it boneless, the advantage is self-explanatory. It's easy to cut, easy to serve. But when dealing with a small turkey, it's not much of a hassle to clean any more than a chicken. So it's no big deal. Get some here on the drumstick. Takes a little bit of finesse. Over here, looks like there's a little bit right there. I need to get some in there. There we go. Still got plenty of butter. This is kind of difficult for me because I'm not too used to using the camera this way. When I did the few other cooking videos that I made, I had I had it stationary, mounted on the stove, so I didn't have to look through the camera. But since I got like this little harness thing that I have on me, I actually got to look through the camera instead of looking with my own eyes. So it's something I'm not used to. Okay. So it looks like it's butter up pretty good. Most of this is going to run off, but it helps the skin some, so that's okay just to rub a little bit on the outside. Get in the crevices where the skin isn't. I wish there was smell-o-vision. Just the smell of the compound butter is amazing. Okay, so we got our turkey all buttered up. All we can do is you take an apple. I like using Granny Smiths than I do Red Delicious or Honeycrisp because of the tartness. I always think like sour and tart seems to go really well with poultry. So I always prefer to use Granny Smiths whenever I'm cooking it with poultry. Some people say, "Oh, you gotta use Red Delicious." No, you don't. It's up to your taste. Use whatever you like. All right, now we insert it into the body. There we go. I wash my hands. second. Okay, so next we're just going to take about 4 stalks of celery. And give them a good rinse. Cut off the ends. And then just get creative with it. You know, hey, just jam this fucking celery up your asshole. There we go. He's got a smile now. Alright, now time for it to go into the pot. Give this area a good wipe down. I'm going to move the slow cooker on there so it can be close to the oven so I can have them both connected to the same. I could have sworn I saw a spider in there. So move this stuff out of the way. Oh, yeah, and it's optional if you want. You sprinkle a little bit of celery salt on top just to help crispen the skin some. And even though it's got rosemary in the compound butter, you know, just for appearances, just I'm gonna sprinkle some rosemary on top. A little bit of a butter that we rubbed on top of there will help make it stick, along with the salt. Doesn't look pretty now, but whenever it fully roasts, it'll have a nice appearance. Okay, now for the fun part. Take your turkey, slowly lift it into your roasting dish or your slow cooker, whichever one that you're going to use. There we go, just like that. And let me wash my hands again. That butter. It's hard to touch anything once you got butter all over your fingers. Okay, so where's that lid at? Oh yeah, the thermostat. So I got these. I got this wireless thermostat. It's freaking awesome. I just you just plug it into one small device, and then you keep another device with you, and then it'll show you the temperatures in real time. And it'll beep at you once it reaches the temperature that you want it. So like for these, you want to get in the thickest part. But the reader is right here. You don't need to jam it all the way through. I think about right here. Right there is fine. Yeah, about right there. The perfect cooking temperature for this is 325. So like it's the 325 right there. And it's good to go. Since we're using a wireless thermostat, we don't have to worry about times, but if you want to get an idea as to the general cooking times to expect is that like for me, about 16 to 18 pound turkey will take about 3 3/4 to 4 hours. So I don't have to, but just like since I got that started, I need to start the other one too. And just put 4 hours on there. There we go. Okay, we are back. As you can see, the thermostat is right there at 170. 165 is supposed to be the safe temperature for poultry, but just to make sure, in case I got it too close to the bone or just outside, I like to wait until it gets to 170 to make sure it's thoroughly cooked. As you also can see, the oven is about halfway there, and so using a roaster actually cuts the time in half because the heat source is a lot closer to the turkey than the oven. So yeah, if you want to only take 2 hours to cook a turkey instead of 4, then definitely go with a slow roaster like this. So let me go ahead and take the lid off and see what we got here. Ooh, look at that. Doesn't that look good? Since I'm limited on space here, I'm going to be putting it over by the on top of the chest freezer. You see that? It's got a nice color to it. Now, it's surprising like how just a little tear away from the a little tear on the skin made a huge difference, and it actually caused it to pull all the way back on this one breast, which I was not expecting, but it's still fine. There's plenty of those those herbs on there that covered the breast, so it wasn't like it dried out or anything. That's what all that butter was for. Alright, let's remove this. Now we just have to get the turkey out. This is going to be a a little bit of a challenge. Well, there, just go in from the side. There we go. Heave it out. Take it off of here. Really carefully move it over here. Okay, one turkey done. So once the turkey is done, you just set it out and you let it rest for about 5 to 10 minutes to let it cool down before you start cutting. You don't want to be cutting into a hot turkey because it'll fall apart. So you want it to cool off some and let it firm up a little bit. Hello everybody, I am back, and now we're moving on to the cornbread in order to make cornbread dressing. Now, you can skip this step entirely by going to the grocery store and buying cornbread that's already been baked. You don't have to bake your own. But if you want to go that extra step, then you can go ahead and follow any online recipes. There's 1,000 of them. But I'm just going to. I got a ton of this blue cornbread mix still left over. So I got a 1-to-1 ratio of cornbread and or cornmeal and flour. I got 8 eggs actually, 6 cups of buttermilk, and I have some baking soda, baking powder, salt. And to the eggs, I mixed in 4 tablespoons of honey. You can use sugar. Sugar is commonly used. And 4 sticks of butter. And that's 4 servings of, well, not 4 servings, but 4 times the normal recipe. Hello. Sorry I got cut off earlier. My phone got full, so I had to delete a bunch of videos in order to record. Basically, just follow any instructions online for baking cornbread. It is already cool. You have to wait down until it cools down all the way. I have some butter hot on the in the pot, and these are all the vegetables I'm going to put on there. I got some celery. I got some chopped apple. I have some red bell pepper, which is a little sweet, and I also have some chopped up onions here. I also have 2 cups of walnuts I'm going to add to it. So for now, just take all these vegetables and we're just going to put them in the pot. Whoops. Got some spillage. This is just going to get some time to saute for a little while. While this is cooking on the stove, we can get to work breaking up the cornbread. So, pretty much just get your hands into it. See, this is a blue cornbread, so it's a little crumbly. Just get your hands to work. all of this up. Just like so. Smells amazing. While I'm doing this too, I need to go ahead and set the oven for 350. Preheat it. Check back over here. Turn up the heat a little bit, get it going. Okay. This looks like it's pretty good. It doesn't have to be broken down into tiny pieces everywhere, just medium-sized chunks. You want it broken down enough to where it mixes well with everything once you start adding stuff. Alright, that looks good. Don't need to cook this down till it's completely soft, but you want to soften them up a little bit so they won't be too hard whenever the dressing is ready. Go ahead and add the walnuts to it. I'll have to try to break them down a little more. You know, for a large dressing like this, I'd probably make I'd probably use 4 cups of chicken stock. But this cornbread is so moist that I think I can do half of that fine. It's one thing that you want to make sure is trying to find that balance between soggy and too dry. And it's pretty moist the way that it is now, so it shouldn't need that much chicken stock. So go over here. Let's look on here. $32. So this is 4 cups. So let me see how it is with just half this much. Let me see how that's good. Okay, I think we can do 4 cups. I think 4 cups will be fine. I have to take into the account the amount of moisture from the vegetables too that are sauteing in the butter right now once I pour them in. Okay, let's leave that as it is for now. Let's see how this is doing. Looks like it's about there. The onions are translucent. And the peppers look like they're starting to get soft. So it looks like it's about ready. I'm gonna go ahead and add some sage to this too. It's up to you whether or not you want to use sage. Some people love it, some people hate it. I'm not gonna put too much. I don't want it to overpower everything. Just some. All right, now to add the veggies here. See all that liquid that poured out? Try a little bit. See how it tastes. It tastes good. Now we have to be careful with the. Let me go ahead and add some more. I'm just afraid that it might get too dry, but it looks like it's just right there. Okay, that looks good. Only thing left is just the salt and pepper to taste. Looks like the battery's about dead on this thing. Come on, you can stretch. That should be good. And you got to be careful not to put too much salt. Since I already added salt to the cornbread, and cornbread is most of the... I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit on top here. And that should be enough. Making so much of it, it can barely contain it. Alright, this should be almost ready for the oven now. Check one more time for wetness. Looks and feels good. Let's go ahead and smooth it out. Okay. We just pop this in the oven. 350 degrees. Check back 45 minutes to an hour. All right, and for the gravy, since I'm making 2 turkeys, I'm making a huge pot of gravy. You take all the fixings that came with it, the neck, the heart, the liver, the gizzard, all that stuff. Oh, some piece of celery. You dice all that up real fine. I got a bag of the other one right here. It usually comes in these flimsy bags here. Man, it's so much harder to cut when you're not directly looking at it. Oh, you're missing the top of your finger. Oh, you're eating it. There's the heart. No, for such a big bird, it's got a tiny little heart. That's about the same size of a duck heart, because that's what I used to feed my ferrets. I used to cut up duck hearts for them all the time. Now I buy like a pre-mix blend of meat and organs, so I don't have to be cutting all this shit up all the time like I used to. That was getting tedious for those things. Man, it's like how can a 2-pound animal, 2 or 3-pound animal, eat and shit so much? Whoops, cut a thumbnail. Someone will get a lucky prize. And I feel so flimsy cutting like this that it reminds me of one of my earliest videos when I was like doing a little trolling with so like back in the day they used to have a lot of kids doing turtle unboxing videos, or like they're like, you know, check out my new turtle I bought on turtle.com, you know. And it would be like, it'd be like a you know, the cardboard shipping box, and then it'd be like a bunch of packing stuff, and then the poor little turtle would be like either suspended in peanuts, or it would be inside of a little plastic like container with like some moist towelettes or something. And I'm like, man, I gotta jump on this. So I made like make a little parody video of something like that. But I was like, I was cutting the box with a ornamental katana, trying to be as ridiculous as possible. Okay, so everything is in here in the pot, and so I just for you'll probably use the same amount or less of chicken stock, but I like just using yeah, 32 ounces. So I mean, if it was like for one turkey, you'd probably only use 1 pound or 16 ounces of chicken stock. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of gravy. So that's 2 tails, 2 necks, 2 hearts, 2 livers, and 2 gizzards. So I put all that in the pot, and just take the rest of the compound butter that's left over, and I just throw it in there. Now I know how Edward Scissorhands feels like. He's got like prosthetics for hands, and he's like, oh, I can't fucking put the butter in the goddamn thing. And just put the rest of the butter in there like that, and that's all the seasoning that you need for it. Cover it up, and then it's going to be a slow cook. You don't want to have the heat up high because it's going to burn unless you keep putting liquids in it. And with gravy, you want to limit the amount of liquids that you put in there so that whenever it comes time to debone all that stuff and start thickening it up with some butter and well, not butter because we already have some in there, but some milk and cornstarch. It'll all come apart like that. It'll be nice and thick whenever you don't have to deal with because if you have too many liquids in there, you have to reduce it. And reduction, oh man, it takes a long time. But we got just under 4 hours, so it's got plenty of time to slow cook and thicken up as it starts to break down. But that's it for this first segment. I'm going to move on to the dressing here later once the turkey is done, and I will see you then. All we need in here in this pot for the gravy. And that's been slow cooking for about 2 hours. I'm going to continue to let it sit there in hot simmer or on that slight simmer for the rest of the time for the oven turkey. By that time, all the meat on those necks and tail will be falling off, so it'll be real easy to debone those and then make the gravy then. So yeah, I'll see y'all back in 2 more hours. Okay, so I'm still waiting on the second turkey to be ready. So while we're waiting for that, we'll go ahead and make the gravy. It's pretty simple. We've had everything, all the fixings in there, the turkey necks and the onion, the liver, and the gizzard and the hearts in there. So I took out the duck necks and I deboned them. As you can see, there's quite a bit of meat in there from those 2 necks. So that's a lot of meat that comes from those. So never throw those away. So we're just going to add this back into the stock. And then we're going to add some slurry to this. And the slurry just consists of milk, and I got 2 cups here because I'm making a large batch, and cornstarch, which I got about 1/3 of a cup here. But if you're going to be making a smaller amount of gravy, then you need a lot less cornstarch. It's better to add not enough in the beginning and then just seeing how much it thickens up than adding too much, because you don't want to you don't want a big gelatinous mess. So add that to there. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and stir it up with a blender. Over the sink to make sure I'm not making a mess. And the reason why you want to add the cornstarch mix to the to the milk first before you put it in there in the pot is because if you don't, it'll clump up. Doing it this way ensures that there's no clumps. It's a lot different than roux, because with roux you use flour. But I find a lot better consistency when using cornstarch. Okay. So I'll go ahead and just pour this in there. And turn the heat back up to simmer. It's about medium for now, and then I'll turn it down as it starts to boil. And as the heat picks up on it, it'll start to thicken. And for this, it's all about reduction. And reduction takes a lot of time. So you basically just keep an eye on it off and on. Make sure the heat isn't too high on there because you don't want it to burn. And you just check it every now and then until it gets as thick as you want. You shouldn't have to worry about adding more cornstarch, because if it's still too thin, you can just wait until it reduces more, and then as it loses more of that liquid and steam, then it'll thicken up more. So just give it some time. That's the longest time that you're gonna wait is for the gravy. All right, I will see y'all back whenever it's time to make the stuffing. I have to wait for the turkey to be done in the oven, so I'll have space for the dressing. But we got to make the cornbread first, and then we'll make the cornbread dressing afterwards. Okay. All right, I am back, and with the final thing that we can make, and it's going to be very simple. It's just cranberries. Make a cranberry sauce. You just buy fresh cranberries, and depending on how many people you're going to serve, you know what I mean, just get as many cranberries or as little as you want, and sugar. But I'm using raw honey, and you can add things to it like ginger. If you want a little bit of a ginger kick to it, you can add some ginger. You can also add walnuts to it, but since I'm adding walnuts to the dressing, there's really no point in adding walnuts to the cranberry sauce. But I do have some orange juice here. I'm just going to pour some of that in here like so. And then just turn up the heat and let it cook. And whenever I'd put it on medium because there's sugar in here and sugar burns hot. Basically, you just leave it alone, cover it, and when you start hearing some popping noises, that means it's getting close to right there about getting ready. But it's up to you if you want it mushy, jellied, a little chunky. If you want it like jelly, you can get some gelatin and add it to it while it's hot. And when it cools down, it will coagulate and be like jelly. If you want it whole berry, you just wait till it pops, check it for tenderness, and serve it as is. But yeah, that's all there is to it. The easiest Thanksgiving side dish. Okay, I'll be back whenever everything's finished. Alright, there you go. Dressing is now finished, as well as the cranberry sauce. See how thick it is? That's all there is to it. I hope you enjoy my cooking video. I'll post a picture later of a nice plate. Y'all have a good one.